Saudi Arabia made a bold pivot in its search for military technology. For decades, the kingdom relied on the US and Europe for advanced weapons, but political strings and delays made Riyadh uneasy. Frustrated by conditions and debates in Western capitals, Saudi leaders sought new partners. Enter China, offering advanced military hardware with no political lectures or threats to cut off supplies. For a nation locked in a dangerous rivalry with Iran and facing relentless drone and missile attacks from Houthi rebels, this was appealing. The cost of using expensive Patriot missiles to shoot down cheap drones was unsustainable. Saudi Arabia needed a cheaper, more efficient solution. Laser weapons emerged as the answer. Low cost per shot, nearly unlimited ammo, and no need for constant resupply. China, eager to expand its influence, proposed the Silent Hunter, also known as Sky Shield, a state-of-the-art laser air defense system. On paper, it was exactly what the Saudis needed: a futuristic, cost-effective shield against drones. The deal marked a strategic shift, signaling Saudi Arabia's willingness to look beyond traditional Western partners. The kingdom hoped this new technology would give it an edge in a rapidly changing battlefield. The promise was clear, reliable defense, fewer political headaches, and a step into the future of warfare. But as the system arrived, expectations were sky high. Saudi Arabia was betting not just on a weapon, but on a new kind of partnership. The world watched to see if this gamble would pay off. The stakes were enormous, not just for Saudi security, but for the global arms market. The stage was set for a dramatic test of China's military technology. The Sky Shield system arrived in Saudi Arabia with grand promises. Poly Technologies marketed it as a revolutionary air defense solution, capable of destroying drones with a powerful laser beam. The system boasted a range of several kilometers and a high success rate in tests. Its truck-mounted units could be rapidly deployed to protect vital infrastructure. The biggest selling point: cost-effectiveness. Firing a laser was far cheaper than launching a missile. For Saudi Arabia, this meant neutralizing dozens of drones for the price of a single interceptor. The system promised constant, affordable protection for cities and oil fields. Precision was another draw: minimal collateral damage, maximum deterrence. Sky Shield was pitched as a leap into next-generation warfare, aligning with Saudi Arabia's Vision 2030. Owning one of the world's first combat-ready laser systems would be a major prestige boost. The Chinese sales pitch was tailored to Saudi needs: cheap, effective, and free of political baggage. Poly Technologies assured Riyadh the system was ready for real-world threats. The promise: a quick, reliable defense against the exact dangers the kingdom faced. For Saudi military leaders, it seemed like the perfect solution. The decision to invest was seen as bold and forward-thinking. The kingdom placed its bet, hoping to redefine its defenses. Reality hit hard once the Sky Shield was deployed. The Saudi desert's dust, sand, and humidity sapped the laser's power, slashing its effective range. Sandstorms and haze turned a lab-tested weapon into a struggling system in the field. The targeting software lagged behind fast, erratic drones, making the system unreliable in real combat. Seconds matter in air defense, but Sky Shield was often a step too slow. Weather was another enemy. Rain, fog, and even morning dew scattered the laser beam, rendering it useless on many days. Attackers quickly learned to exploit these weaknesses, launching drones when the system was down. Overheating was a constant problem. The cooling systems couldn't handle the desert heat. Frequent shutdowns left critical infrastructure exposed for long stretches. Instead of a constant shield, Sky Shield could only operate in short bursts. The system's limitations became painfully clear. What was supposed to be an invisible fortress turned into an unreliable, expensive experiment. The promise of a game-changing defense faded fast. Saudi Arabia was left searching for answers. The Sky Shield's failure was part of a larger pattern in China's arms industry. Chinese weapons often look impressive on paper, but lack real-world combat testing. Most systems are developed in controlled environments, not battlefields. The PLA hasn't fought a major war in decades, so feedback and improvements are limited. In contrast, US and Russian weapons are constantly refined through combat experience. Chinese manufacturers sell based on theoretical performance, not proven reliability. Political and economic pressures push companies to rush products to market. The result: bold claims, but unproven technology. customers like Saudi Arabia end up with expensive gear that doesn't deliver. The sell first, fix later approach leaves buyers with buyer's remorse. Saudi Arabia's experience wasn't unique. Other countries have faced similar issues with Chinese arms: poor build quality, unreliable performance, and maintenance headaches. African nations grounded Chinese aircraft due to lack of spare parts. Kenyan armored vehicles failed to protect troops. Myanmar's JF-17 jets and Chinese drones in Libya and Yemen suffered from technical flaws and high loss rates. These failures undermine China's reputation as a top-tier arms supplier. For buyers, the warning is clear: promises don't always match reality. Saudi Arabia's turn to China was driven by frustration with the US. For decades, the US-Saudi alliance was built on oil and security, but arms sales became increasingly political, with Congress debating every deal. Delays and restrictions left Riyadh feeling vulnerable as threats mounted. Relying on a single supplier now seemed risky. What if Washington cut off arms sales entirely? Saudi leaders wanted more autonomy and less political interference. China and Russia offered weapons as straightforward business, not leverage. The US also restricted its most advanced technology, leaving Saudi Arabia with older systems. China, by contrast, offered its latest, if untested, hardware. The move wasn't just about price. It was about independence and access to new tech. Saudi Arabia hoped diversification would reduce its strategic vulnerability. The Sky Shield deal was a calculated risk to break free from old dependencies. But the gamble didn't pay off as hoped. The Sky Shield's failure was a major setback for China's global ambitions. Beijing wants to rival the US and Russia in the arms market, using exports to build influence. A successful deployment in Saudi Arabia would have been a huge endorsement. Instead, the failure became a cautionary tale for other buyers. The incident reinforced doubts about Chinese military technology. Reliability, not just price, is what matters in national defense. The Sky Shield saga damaged China's reputation and made future sales harder. Potential customers are now more skeptical of Chinese claims. The fallout extends to China's diplomatic efforts, undermining its image as a reliable partner. Selling faulty technology erodes trust and weakens alliances. The lesson promises alone aren't enough to win in the global arms race. China's credibility took a real-world hit. After the Sky Shield disappointment, Saudi Arabia faces tough choices. The threat from drones and missiles remains urgent. Riyadh may return to Western suppliers, despite political strings and higher costs. US, European, and Israeli firms offer more proven combat-tested systems. Another option: accelerate domestic defense development, a key Vision 2030 goal. Co-developing systems tailored to Saudi needs could build local expertise and self-sufficiency. The lesson is clear: there are no shortcuts in defense. Cheap, untested solutions prove to be a mirage. Future deals will focus on reliability and genuine partnership, not just price. Saudi Arabia's next move will be watched closely by allies and rivals alike.